In the year 2079, CIA operative Snow finds himself in deep trouble after being arrested for the murder of undercover agent Frank Armstrong. The officials are interrogating him and he acts like being funny and carefree, which lands him a punch after a punch. Frank had just uncovered shocking evidence that someone inside the agency was leaking top-secret information about the space program. But the truth is far more complicated. Snow had actually tried to save Frank when they were suddenly ambushed by unknown assassins. Secret Service Director Scott Langell has witnessed himself, the killing of Frank by none other than Snow himself. Snow is shocked and says he has nothing to do with Frank's murder. Fatally wounded, Frank entrusted Snow with the damning evidence he had uncovered. Special forces attack the place and Snow runs from the hotel room along with the briefcase that Frank has given him. Forces find him and starts shooting, but Snow has no other option and jumps from the building. He then steals a bike and makes a run. Mace is on the phone telling him to reach train station. With entire special force behind him, Snow makes it to the station. Just before being captured by government forces, Snow managed to discreetly pass the evidence to his handler, Mace, without being seen by anyone. Following orders from the president, Secret Service Director Scott Langell has Snow charged with murder and espionage. As a result, Snow is sentenced to 30 years on MS-1, a high-security space prison where inmates are kept in a state of stasis for the duration of their sentence. Meanwhile, Snow's trusted friend Mace hides the briefcase in a locker. While going away, he mistakenly kills a cop and is taken into custody. Meanwhile, Snow's loyal friend and fellow agent Harry Shaw begins a desperate search for Mace, the only person who knows where Frank's briefcase and its explosive contents are hidden. Back in orbit, the president's daughter Emily boards MS-1 to investigate alarming reports that long-term stasis might be causing mental instability in prisoners. The company running MS-1, eager to secure contracts with other nations, welcomes her visit, especially since the US is the only country not yet on board. But beneath the surface lies a darker agenda. The prison is secretly funded by private deep space exploration companies who intend to use the inmates as guinea pigs for deep space stasis testing. Emily is allowed to interview one particularly unstable inmate named Heidel. Unfortunately, the interview takes a horrifying turn when Heidel takes the gun of one of the bodyguards and shoots at Emily. This gunfire causes fire at the room and Emily escapes. Heidel also escapes and unleashes chaos by releasing all the prisoners. A full-scale riot breaks out led by Heidel's brother Alex. Emily is injured and taken hostage along with several others. In response, Shaw persuades Langell and the president that sending Snow to rescue Emily is the best option, rather than risking her life in a lengthy siege. Snow is reluctant at first, but changes his mind once Shaw reveals that Mace is on MS-1 and may hold the key to clearing Snow's name. Langell tries to outsmart Alex with a clever negotiation, but things go sideways. One of the prisoners spots a man outside the prison station. Alex then realizes that he has been framed. He kills the negotiator. This event forces Snow to go in solo and infiltrate the chaotic prison. Alex soon figures out Emily's true identity as the president's daughter and captures her again. However, Emily manages to escape with her bodyguard, Hawk, and they find temporary safety in a secure room. When oxygen levels start dropping, Hawk makes the ultimate sacrifice. He takes his own life to save Emily by reducing oxygen consumption, buying her precious time. Meanwhile, Snow is on his way to reach Emily. He reaches a point where he is positioned at the top of the shaft. Snow peers down into the wind tunnel. Below him, far across the gap, is the tiny maintenance platform that leads to Emily's sealed location. Between him and it, a colossal ventilation fan roaring with power, its blades slicing through the air like something out of a meat grinder. Most people would turn back. But not Snow. With zero hesitation and his signature dry wit locked and loaded, he launches himself into the shaft. The blast of air catches him instantly, throwing his body forward like a rag doll caught in a windstorm. He glides through the air just feet above the deadly spinning blades. Snow finally makes it to the other end. Just on the other side of the sealed door, Emily stares at the controls, her oxygen monitor beeping in a panic-inducing rhythm. She's fading, trying to stay awake. Then from behind her the door bursts open and in stumbles Snow. Snow eventually locates Emily and rescues her. To avoid detection by the rampaging inmates, Snow disguises her by altering her appearance, making her look less recognizable. Together they find Mace, but stasis has damaged his mind, rendering him incoherent and confused. Snow and Emily try to bring Mace with them to the escape pod, but disaster strikes. MS-1, now out of control, crashes into the International Space Station. The resulting explosion kills Mace. At the escape pod, Snow realizes there's only one seat. Suspecting that this entire mission was a setup meant to get rid of him, he insists Emily take the pod. But she refuses, unwilling to abandon the remaining hostages. Instead they try to buy more time. When Heidel contacts Emily and threatens to kill the hostages unless she reveals her location, she complies, but Heidel murders them anyway. Snow and Emily stumble upon shocking evidence proving that the prisoners were indeed being used as illegal test subjects. Before they can act, Alex recaptures Emily and ambushes Snow, leaving him wounded. When Alex discovers Heidel's betrayal, learning that all hostages are already dead, he contacts the president and makes a horrific threat. Unless he and the prisoners are released, Emily will be assaulted. The president refuses to negotiate, leading Langrel to take temporary control and order the total destruction of MS-1. Heidel attempts to carry out his threat, but Alex, disgusted, intervenes. The two brothers engage in a brutal fight that ends with Alex's death. Heidel lunges at Emily in a final act of violence, but Snow appears just in time to knock him out. With Langrel's men preparing to blow up the prison, Snow and Emily don spacesuits and make a daring leap into space as the station explodes behind them. They survive re-entry and crash land safely back in New York City, where Snow is immediately arrested. Later, Emily reflects on Mace's ramblings and realizes they weren't nonsense. They were a coded message revealing the location of Frank's briefcase. She goes to the train station, which Mace kept saying again and again. She writes the password ICUI4CU. And then she recovers the briefcase. Snow hands the briefcase to Shaw, who opens it only to find it empty. But Snow isn't fooled. He never gave Shaw the code to unlock it. Realizing Shaw is the mole, he has him arrested. Snow is finally cleared of all charges and released. Among the personal items returned to him is a lighter Frank had given him before dying. Snow examines it and discovers a hidden memory card containing the real secret data. In the final moments, Emily catches up with Snow, playfully teasing him upon learning that his first name is Marion. The two walk off together, leaving behind the chaos and maybe heading toward a quieter future. Guys, we hope that you like this recap. Subscribe our channel for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.